Okay, I'm going to go live here because I think that's easier to do. We're going to do an episode, a new experiment called Taxicab Memoirs. And the focus of this Taxicab Memoirs is going to have to do with affair that I picked up tonight. I'm not going to give you general details what it's about, but I'm going to break down as best I can in detail what happened. So I pick up this gentleman from the airport, and he gives me the address, and we start heading that way. And he started asking questions about the address. All right, no problem. I gave him what he needed to know about the address. I said, well, it's not exactly the best part of town. So apparently he's here because he was to meet a girl. And he met this girl online, as usual. And as we got closer, we start to learn what was the schematics of the whole thing, because he was at the airport. He was trying to make sure his round trip part of the ticket was taken care of. And that's fine. I had no issue with that. But as we progress in the trip, I start to hear bits and pieces of it, because he started asking me, okay, well, the young lady said she was at this location. She wanted to meet me at the airport. And I said, no, I'll take a cab. It's no problem. Partly because that should have been a red flag for him. But as we get into the story, I will break down the red flags that would pop up leading up to this trip. We get to the place. We have a hell of a time looking for the address. So I pull it up on Google Maps and I found it. And it was the very place that I suspected. It had been run down. Well, next door was a gentleman who was a tow truck driver. So he comes out and he starts explaining what's going on. He says, hey, what address are you looking for? So we give him the address and he goes, yeah, that place has been vacant for some time. And the guy at first said, well, maybe not. I mean, this is the place. He said, yeah, that place has been vacant for some time. In fact, the guy who owned the place had issues with burglaries. No joke. This low area place, it was so bad that the gentleman's house, the tow truck driver, when he goes to start his vehicles in the morning, he has to take his gun with him. Now, that's a serious red flag neighborhood if I didn't know any better. So he starts revealing the details of this young lady. Apparently, she had sent him a picture of her ID with the address on it. Now, first of all, why are you sending pictures of the ID with the address on it? That's a serious red flag. That's one. And then there's number two. He talked about how he would send her a Amazon gift card. She took that, no problem. But then he tried to send her packages. The packages never got picked up. Then he sent her flowers. The flowers never got picked up. Those are two red flags right there. And then we find out he spent $8,000. $8,000 to help her out. I said, where did you meet her on social media? He goes, yeah, I met her on Instagram. And I said, oh no. Instagram and OnlyFans are two havens, and maybe Facebook in some cases, but mainly Instagram and OnlyFans are two havens where these kind of women will hang out, get all the gifts that they want, thinking these men are going to come and see them. And then he said, you know, he managed to get her on the phone as he landed in Wichita, but as soon as he got to the specific area in the neighborhood where he was supposed to go, she claims she all of a sudden had some phone trouble. Yeah. And me and the tow truck driver, we both discussed how we do DoorDash. And ironically enough, that neighborhood has one of the best receptions as far as internet or phone coverage or anything out of the entire city. So explain to me how you have phone trouble. So he goes back and he reassesses everything he's did up until now. He's not even from the U.S. He's from Canada. He spent the $8,000. He didn't see the red flags coming when he sent the gifts. He was essentially simping for this woman. And it's sad. So he goes back and he realizes, hey, I got a lot to learn here, apparently. And yes, you do. You have a lot to learn here. The lesson learned here is you just can't trust these women on social media because you never know how honest or dishonest they are going to be. And it's pretty bad. So I take him back. He said he only had $20 left outside of the airline ticket to make sure he could eat to make it back home. And I told him, I said, look, don't give up. Love is out there. Don't think for a moment it's over. And he held his, I said, I'm sorry this happened. And, I think I earned his respect, i.e., he knows now he needs to be more aware. And this is my lesson to you guys. If you interact with these women on social media, specifically Instagram and OnlyFans and other places, and all he wants money, stop simping. It's time to wake up. You have better uses of your time and money other than these women. And that is Taxicab memoirs for tonight. If I get an instance where I hear something about this, I'll put it on YouTube for you guys to hear. And if any of you get this after the live is over, let me know in the comments down below what you think about this story. I feel for the guy, but he's got to learn. You can't be simping for these women. I'm sorry.